Hey y'all, Amber here with Yarn Equals Crochet, and today I wanted to do a yarn review with you. I have been making a baby blanket for a little while. I've just kind of been working on it off and on, so it's taken me much longer than I anticipated to finish it, but I have one row left and all I have to do is wash it and it's done. So I wanted to go ahead and share this with you, let you see it. This is the King Cole Baby Big Value DK yarn. I got this in a mystery bag from Dara Morris. So the specs of this yarn, it is 320 yards, 290 meters, 100% acrylic, and a 100 gram ball. You can wash it in cold water, no ironing, no bleaching. You can dry clean it. You can put it in the dryer on cool. I, of course, would always recommend to just let it air dry. This shade is Aqua. Here's the dye lot number and the shade number, just in case anyone is interested. This is super squishy, very soft, perfect baby blanket material. I will absolutely give it that. It's perfect. This is a big ball. 4 balls of this made a very decent sized baby blanket. I didn't double up on my strands or anything. I just used it as it is. This is a true DK size, and if you notice, it's got a bit of a halo on it. I'm trying to hold it where you can see. It has a halo. Now, I wanted to point that out to you because my biggest gripe with this yarn while I've been working with it is that it kept getting tangled on itself, and it was due to the fibers getting caught as I was trying to pull the yarn out. I tried 3 different methods of working with this yarn. The first method that I tried was just doing from the outside of the yarn and just kind of spinning it off like that. That worked just fine. To me, it's the slowest way. It takes the most time because, you know, every couple of minutes I was having to stop to, to pull loose some more yarn and then, work, then I have to stop and do it again. But that method, for me, caused the least amount of tangling. Whenever it was time to add another ball, I got my yarn winder out, my cake winder out, and I made it into a cake. The cake did just fine. It sort of collapsed on me. It kind of fell apart a little bit, and I don't know if that was me or the yarn, but I was afraid that it was sort of going to get tangled on itself, and it didn't do too bad. It wasn't a big thing. When it came time to use another ball of yarn, that time I tried a center pull, and it came out a tangled, jumbled mess. And because this yarn has a halo on it, when I was trying to pull it loose, it kept getting caught on itself, and there were so many knots. A center pull on this yarn was a disaster. Don't do it. If you have this yarn, or if you like it and you want to buy some, which I do recommend, I would for sure, especially if you find it on sale. Absolutely. The size is wonderful. It made a beautiful blanket that I'm about to show you, and it feels great. Like this is, and the garment is warm. As the blanket was growing and it was spreading across my lap, it was keeping me warm. So I was tickled. I was tickled to death. So the pattern that I used when I made this came from this pattern book that I bought from Annie's Publishing a while back. Super Easy Baby Blankets. This is the second pattern that I've worked from this book. I will try to remember to put up in the corner the video link to the other pattern, the baby blanket that I made. It was the video for the Annie's Caring Crochet Kit Club where we made the blanket for Project Linus. That pattern also came from this book. The pattern that I used before was the Elijah blanket for the Project Linus. The one I used this time is the Chrissy blanket, and I didn't pick this because it looks like it's a girly pattern. I just like the pattern, but it's like a grid, like a square textured grid, and that's what I wanted because babies and kids, when they like to touch and feel and grab things, and I wanted to make something that when they touched it, it could be something soft and textured that they might like. Had I used a lighter color yarn for this particular pattern. It probably would have turned out much more prominent the way that it does in the book. But because I use darker color yarn, and mainly, like I said, I've had this yarn for over a year. I'm trying to clear out my stash. So that's why I picked this yarn. But this is the blanket, and I think it turned out beautifully. You can see the grid shape on it. Like I said, it's not as prominent as it is here. You know, you can see it in this lighter color yarn so much better. But in the dark yarn, it still looks very, very nice. You can see it. It is textured. You can feel that ridging. You can feel the ribbing, which is what I wanted for the little baby. And the border is just a single crochet border. I'm going around it 4 times like the pattern called for. I made the blanket exactly as the pattern wanted. The only thing that I changed was the size. I made this blanket a little longer and wider than the sizing that's in the book. This is a very decent sized blanket. I haven't measured it yet because like I said, I still have 1 row yet left, but before the border, before I put on this single crochet border, which is probably going to add maybe like 3/4 of an inch to an inch more, it was 32 inches long and about 17-ish inches wide. So by the time I'm done, it's going to be at least 33 inches tall and at least 18 some odd inches wide. But this is a very decent sized blanket. Frogging with this really was not a problem. I expected so many more issues with frogging, but I really didn't have any. I mean, it frogged very, very well. So I will give it that. It was a little splitty. I used boy style hooks, and I think I used a 4.5 millimeter for the body of the blanket. And the border, I went down to a 3.5. And again, the pattern for this blanket tells you to do those things. It tells you to go down a hook size or 2. So that's what I did, and it seems to be working just fine. This is a very simple, no frills, no muss or fuss baby blanket. It was very easy to make. This is it. I wanted to show this to you guys, give you this review. Hope that you liked it. And thank you so much for your support. Please take a second to give this video a like if you don't mind. If you have not subscribed, I would love to have you hit that subscribe button, and don't forget to hit the little bell icon and tell it all. That way it'll notify you every time I put a video on. Thank you all for joining me today. I appreciate you so much. If you find this yarn on sale, I would advise getting at least 4 balls of it so you can make a nice, good size baby blanket with it. I don't think that you would regret it. I like it very, very much. Thank you all. Have a good day. I'll see you next time. And until then, happy yarn crafting.